Okay, we're back with a bit of a different video this time. Blue actually came up with this idea for full disclosure. Um, the idea is that one of us is going to play a game the other one is good at, and then that first person is going to review their performance in the game. So Blue, as the first one of these, has played a game of Starcraft, a ranked game of Starcraft, in fact. Um, and has sent me the replay. You can see it right here. Blue getting spanked at StarCraft 2, so apparently it didn't go so well for him. Although, 1355, it's a bit of a long game, as StarCraft standards go. For reference, StarCraft 2, I'm in right now. I'm not ranked at the moment, but when I last played seriously, I was Diamond as Protoss and Zerg, Platinum is Random, and Platinum is Terran. Blue played Terran, so we'll see how exactly. I mean, I'm not going to be the best expert on this, but it was PvT, which honestly it's a pretty good matchup for Terran. So I'm already judging Blue for losing. All right, let's load this up and see how it goes. I don't know if I mentioned it already, but he did play ranked too. He sent me a video file of the game, and I saw him choose ranked going into this. So there is that. Got the Rainer, the Jim Rainer icon going on. All right, so we got red Protoss over here. Let's take a look at blue. Yeah, he's got his units going. It's a late worker already. That's me being really judgy. That worker came out at 5 seconds. It should have been out at 1. What are you doing? Okay. Hold on. Let's look at Blue's perspective. Alright. He's not hotkeying anything. And why is this worker just sitting here? Blue, what the fuck are you doing? There you go. Get that out there. He must... I'm assuming he's reading abilities or reading buildings. Or maybe he thought he could build a barracks first. But okay, so that's happened. Let's speed this up a little bit. Alright, he's at least... So this is something he's doing right. He's pumping out workers constantly. That's what you want to do. What is this Protoss doing? Why does he have like 2 billion minerals? Is this Protoss AFK? Okay, Blue, how did you lose this? Like, so, early game, Blue's doing a lot of things right. He's going supply depot barracks. He's going right into refinery after that. This is a very standard Terran opening. Keep in mind, I'm not a Terran player. I hate Terrans. I think less of Blue for playing Terran. But this is a very standard Terran opening, as I understand. This is how I open Terran. Something similar to this, at least. I don't leave that weird gap there. Maybe he's trying to put a bunker down in between. That's another way you can do it. Okay, he's going for the second base right off. Seriously, Blue, this is like... He's actually doing a really good opening here. He's being a little slow. I would have put a bunker there instead of a supply depot, but, whatever. This guy's saying hi. Oh, he's starting to spend some of his minerals. Let's look at everyone again. Okay, so he was like either AFK or was just building a bunch of shit up, but when he got back, he threw down, boom. He's spending all his minerals very quickly, which is what I'd expect. So, over here, okay, we got a Marine. I'm not sure I agree with this. If he's going to put them... I mean, I know he wants to have them out there, but Marines are wicked squishy. It would just take one Zealot if he doesn't micro... Oh, this guy's walling in. That's an... That's a fuck-up. Alright, we got an engineering bay. I'm not sure I agree with the engineering bay being that early. If you're going to go, like, hard infantry, then, no, he's going 1-1-1. The engineering bay was a mistake. This should have gone up really late if he's going this kind of a build. Unless, like, you're trying to show, like, oh, look, yeah, I'm going pure infantry, and secretly I'm going a factory. But he's got this down... and he's putting a factory down. He's only got 1 barracks. And Also, he's got no expansions to the barracks. He needs to have either a reactor or something, or what's the lab called? Tech lab. Also, I feel like I'm being horribly critical here, but he's got way too much gas. Like, unless he's planning on transitioning directly into air, let's see if Blue makes a starport. Because if Blue makes a starport, then it makes sense to have that much gas. Okay, takes out the scout early, that's good. Secondary thing, he should have moved these workers, like at least a few of them down to there. And, oh my god, no, he needs an orbital command. That should have been there a while ago. Like, mules are the bread and butter of Terran. They're what make Terran bullshit. Okay. Yeah, this is where things are starting to break down. What's happening here is Blue's getting distracted by his little scouting party that went up here. And so he's not taking care of these SCVs. He's not getting an orbital command. He's not expanding off of the side of the barracks. I mean, this is a fairly common thing with new StarCraft players. You tend to get tunnel vision in certain areas, and you don't start to, like, handle the little nuance. Like, he's built this building, he hasn't used it for anything yet. There's the tech lab. That should have been a while ago, but he's getting it now. Good. He's getting upgrades with this. He's pumping stuff out of this again. So, again, he seemed to have just been distracted with whatever was going on up here. All right, let's speed this up a little bit. He's getting out more Marines. Yep. Get those. God, he needs to upgrade these. We need an orbital. It's right here. I can click it, but it can't happen. Like, this is... I don't play Terran, but this is painful for me. Again, you need the expansions on these. If you're not going to, like, upgrade the Marines, you should have gotten, like, a reactor or... But a tech lab, you gotta get stim something, because just a pile of Marines like that, they're gonna get shit on. Okay. Ooh, going with the Cyclones. That is an interesting choice. See, the thing is, though, this guy's getting a lot of armored units, so what Blue really should be building... And he doesn't know this because he can't get in there to scout because of this wall off here. But I mean, you could sacrifice one Marine to, like, walk up real close and see what's behind this wall. But he needs Marauders. There should be a tech lab on one of these things, and he should be pumping Marauders. Or out of this, oh, there's a siege tank. So that's what he needs, is a siege tank. Yeah, because these don't do bonus damage against armored. So... Again, this is Terran, so I'm having to, like, check some things here, because I don't actually see Cyclones that often in a PvT. You see them sometimes against Zerg, but even then, they're kind of rare these days. All right, going for the third base. I like that. See, the thing is, right now, but look at the resources. Blue is macroing well in terms of expansions and in terms of keeping his worker count up. But... he's not spending efficiently. Like, he needs to get an orbital. He needs to get another orbital. He needs to get some tech labs and more research going. Like, this tech lab, he built it, but he's not researching anything in it. So, yeah, like that's what I'm seeing here. I'd say he'd need to get gas here, but he's not really spending the gas that he has. Like, right now, all the units he's building, he could do off of just the gas in his main base. Because he's just building, like, unupgraded Marines with a bit of mech backup. And I like the idea of having these siege tanks up here to guard his base. Again, he's got, like, the micro strategy down. He's got the setup down, but he's not spending his money nearly efficient enough. Granted, his opponent is also not spending his money near efficient enough. The difference is that his opponent is building units that are going to hard counter the units that Blue is building. So Blue's got very light units here, and he's got a lot of very... like this right here. This alone, with a little bit of things in the front line, like some zealots or something, this is going to completely shred them. The Colossus is the bane of the light infantry. Let's see what we got here. Oh, and yeah, he's setting up these pylons all around. He's getting ready to warp extra shit in around blue. Now, I do, as much as the symmetry bothers me, I do like the fact that blue is setting up his... Okay, there's something going on here. Oh, let's take a look at APM, actually, because this is always something I like to see. Oh. Oh, blue. Oh, blue. God, both of these APM numbers are ass. I'm sorry. Oh, blue just spiked. He's up in the 70s. Did he bring his whole army back just to fight this thing? Okay, his APM is going up. Alright, so right here, this number here, blue should have transferred some workers over to this new base. Honestly, even before you hit the maximum, you should be transferring workers to the new bases. He did finally get an orbital command, though. That's good. Still no Marauders, and this thing still doesn't have a tech lab. He needed to lift this off and move it over slightly and build a tech lab on it. Couple idle workers. I'm not going to judge him on too much. I do this all the time and just leave idle workers just lying around. But seriously, looking at the resource count, if blue had expanded his thing... Say blue... He has 2 barracks right now and 1 factory. He should have like 5 barracks, 2 factory, and a starport right now. Because he has the money and the resources to just be constantly pumping out units. And if he were able to get those out, then he would be able to fucking, like, take out his opponent. So, and again, not judging too hard on some of the stuff. Like, his opponent is turtling in here. See, his opponent is doing what I was saying. His opponent has a fuckload of extra resources, so he's rapidly expanding his production. And that's what he needed to do. So if blue can do the same thing, then he could potentially still be in this. He's going for a hard defensive thing. He went for the upgraded bunkers. Again, at a high level, that's not really something that is worthwhile, but at this level, looking at the opponent he's against, I'm guessing blue's opponent is probably in, I want to say, like, silver-ish. If I had to take a shot in the dark. Okay, yep, and then the stalkers are coming in. He could pull these out. Oh, he is pulling those out. Nice, okay. They're not that great against stalkers, but we'll see how they do. Oh, they're all focusing different stalkers. He needed to focus fire one in particular at a time. Alright, this thing, if he pulled some SCVs, he could repair it. And he's forgetting about this army right now. So he could either pull this one back to defend his base, which is what I would do, or he could send it forward and try to find an undefended spot like this one here and take it out. Yeah. He needs to get something on this to repair it. It can be repaired in the air. I'm not sure if he knows this or not. I'm assuming he doesn't because he's trying to land it. But, yeah. Something to keep in mind. Now, both Blue and his opponent are doing some interesting things here. They're building up little fortresses in the map. So he's put up a strong bunker here, which is going to get fucked by these things. Which, this isn't necessarily a bad idea. It gives you a hard position to fall back to, but you really need to have an army ready to defend against it. And in this case, like, this opponent just happened to have the hard counter to that. These Colossi are not going to let that happen. He did repair this. That's good. But yeah, it just... What it came down to here, if Blue had attacked and, like, taken this guy out around... Let's see, we're at the 13-minute mark. If he had done it at, like, say, the 6-minute mark, his opponent would have been utterly unprepared. Or if he had rushed him early on, because his opponent wasn't doing jack shit for the first few minutes. That would have been, like, a good push. And, again, Blue's early game, while he forgot a few key tech things and didn't take care of a few things, he still had a stronger early game than his opponent. even ignoring the bit where his opponent wasn't building too much. Once his opponent started building, he still wasn't building nearly as much as Blue. The unfortunate thing is that, Blue kind of got a little bit lax in the mid game, and his opponent just really took advantage of that. Built up a few units, and again, neither of them were scouting really. His opponent did have an observer in his base, which definitely gave him an advantage. Now, if Blue had built up an orbital command earlier and scanned his opponent and known what he had, then I think he would have had a better chance. He would have known to build something that wasn't Marines. But yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna say. I honestly expected to come into this just absolutely shitting on him and going like, okay, some things are right, some things are wrong, or just everything's wrong. Because the way he was describing the game to me, he got utterly trounced. But I think he actually did better than he thought and better than I was expecting. So with that, there's going to be a cut in the video here, and then I'm going to bring Blue back into the into the room, and then the two of us are going to discuss how he performed and what his thoughts are on it. So I'm going to cut the video here. Be right back. All right, so I've just finished going over the replay, and now I've got Blue in the room with me.
Yep, I'm here. I've been sent to detention in the master's office.
So that's an interesting statement after what I just said going over this now, because I wasn't as overly critical as you think that I probably was going to be. So before I go into that, though, I want to hear your thoughts. How do you think you did? Where do you think you went wrong?
Okay, so so I started out with a strategy, the classic Terran strategy of just like, first up, block up the entrance to your base,
Yep.
and then build fucking hundreds of Marines.
Yep.
Which I did inefficiently, but I still did it.
You did do it.
And I sent a scout over and scanned their base, saw that they had a fuck ton of vehicles, and I was like, shit, change the plan, stop making Marines, switch to Cyclones, because they've got rockets on their back, so surely they're really good at dealing with tanks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Cyclones are anti-light and anti-air units.
Fuck. I think that might have been, yeah, where like, because I was considering making Marauders, but I was like, I don't know how well the giant Bernie towers like instantly destroy.
Marauders actually were the hard counter to what they used.
Fuck! Oh god, it was in my mind, and I was like,
yeah. So
I?
Marauders tear Stalkers apart, and these guys are also, if you look, they're armored, and Marauders take out armored units.
Yeah, I just didn't know if they're lasers, like the Colossus.
So
lasers.
these guys are anti-infantry. They are hard anti-infantry. The best way to take them out is with air units. So this is something I said when I was watching your replay, is that you really, really, really needed more production buildings.
Right.
So you could have done with like 2 or 3 more barracks, maybe another factory, and another starport. Like at least.
Yeah, I never even got the starport, did I?
Having the starport would have been amazing, because Vikings, you can produce them 2 at a time, and they absolutely shred these things.
Aren't Vikings, when they're in the air, can they attack the ground?
But these things count as air and ground units.
Oh.
So anything that counts as massive is air and ground.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Because I was like, I'm pretty sure Vikings can only attack.
They can only attack air, but these guys are basically like buildings, like skyscrapers, so they can be taken out. That's not something that you would know unless you actually played the game enough. But so I don't really blame you for not getting that. But Marauders would have been an amazing counter.
Yeah. It was kind of the toss-up, like I said, between Cyclones and Marauders. And I figured I already had a war factory with a tech lab on it. Yeah. And I didn't have a barracks for the tech lab. Because do you need a tech lab to make Marauders?
You do. And yeah, so that was another mistake, is that this one you never put anything on it.
Yes, because I used it as part of the thing, and I was like, I can't be asked to do it. I think at one point I was going to, and then I was like...
Yeah, it'll move itself. Like, so you could, if you built that building...
fuck the entrance a little bit.
I do talk about that a little bit when I was reviewing too. So if you had put the tech lab there and built a bunker here, then that would have still blocked it off.
Right, yeah, bunker would have been a better choice for sure.
Yeah, just but that's more of an advanced Terran move. Again, I didn't have any problem with your entrance coverage here. It was more
Okay.
about like you didn't have enough production facilities, and it took you forever to get an orbital command. Like the orbital
Right, yeah, it was
command,
a secondary thought, really.
it's the Terran's bread and butter. Like the orbital command is more important than almost anything else you build as Terran. You should have had
Yeah,
one here, here, and on your base over here, because you can drop mules, you can do scans,
so you still have mules.
you
Yeah,
can make your things carry more supply. So you had a lot right, but you missed out on a few very very key things with Terran.
yeah.
And I did like the way that you spread out all your supply depots, which is also good.
Is it, I mean,
Yeah, like a lot of like I'm lazy with them. I just build them in one huge cube. But when you spread them out like this, you get a few options. Like for this right here, if you just lowered this one and he was coming with zealots, they would all get funneled in through this little hole.
yeah.
Also, if they came in here with these and killed all these, you've got a few spread out over here. It's not the most optimal way to set them up, but it's
No, it
in.
was kind of panic putting them down all the time because I needed them on the ground.
But that's the other thing about the orbital command. You can use a drop to double the effectiveness of a supply depot.
Right, yeah, you can land that thing on top of them, can't you?
You can, yeah. Um, Other than that, like the other thing was right here. This thing, like you threw it down way too early.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
I felt like I wasn't building enough buildings because
You you
it like I don't know.
you weren't, but you weren't building enough production buildings.
Okay,
So tech buildings you want to build a little bit later. So this one you threw it down second. I would throw this down after if I was going like pure infantry. I would throw this down maybe after my second or third barracks.
I was thinking that the engineering bay had the stim pack upgrade.
Ah, yeah, that's where you're wrong. That comes into the tech lab for the barracks.
Oh,
That's why the tech lab is so important because it gives you not only the stim pack, but it gives you the upgrade that gives your Marines plus 10 health,
right. Okay.
which is it's a 25% increase to their health, which is huge when they're going up against especially armored units like stalkers.
Yeah. Did you like my foray with the bunkers outside their base?
I did actually, and I think what I said in the my review of it was like I was like this would be a really really good idea if he was being like if he was attacking them because it gives
Yeah.
you a hard point to fall back to. Unfortunately, you built them when they were attacking you,
Yeah.
which just basically was a way to slightly slow them down.
So I sent my troops there because the moment I realized that they had like all these infantry killing units, I was just like, right, I just need to send them over to the enemy, make some kind of blockade with them, and just let them
Try to slow them down a little bit. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that did make sense. But again, it goes back to the problem of production capacity. Like you didn't have enough production capacity to keep up, the what was needed to stop this. Because had you had like even if you were making units that these units countered, you had so many minerals that if you had like 4 barracks, you could pump out enough Marines and Marauders to turn this around and push them back.
Yeah, I did try and do the old control select,
Hmm.
so I could easily switch, but I'm so not used to doing it that I don't think I ended up using it.
Yeah, I'm
Particularly.
looking back to. I don't know if it'll show me your. It doesn't show me your hotkeys, but
Oh, did it not? I had one for the 2 barracks, and then I had one for the Marines. I think that was the only ones that I used.
yeah. The other big thing is, do you know what scoot and shoot is?
Um, that's like working out based on the ticks when people so shooting and then retreating a little bit, shooting and then retreating.
Yeah, or shooting and charging and shooting and charging. Basically, it's with the Marines. You attack and then you move and then you A move and then you move and then you A move and then you move and then you A move and basically
What's A
you do
move?
it. What?
What's a move?
Attack move. So
Okay.
I have it hotkeyed, but basically you press A and left click and they will attack anything as they move.
Right.
So you're basically move attack, move attack, move attack, move attack, move attack, and you do it So a Marine, I can't remember what the attack speed on a Marine is, but every time they would attack, you move them until they're capable of attacking again, then you attack again. It takes a little bit of practice to get used to, but it's a really efficient way to use Marines to take out more powerful units. But
Right. Okay.
but overall, and I don't want to go on with this too long, but my impression was that you had a lot of ideas right. You just missed out on a couple key units. You didn't know about a couple counters, and you took too long on a couple essential pieces of technology.
Right.
You were also short on production, but you had the right idea throughout the whole thing. It was very clear to me watching that you had the right concept, but
Okay.
you just didn't execute it.
Right. So, would you have gone Marauders, like pure Marauders, or would you said you would have gotten Vikings, right? Against
So
Warford.
if I knew he had Colossi, I would have gone
Yeah.
Vikings. What I would have gone against this Protoss, because you scouted early that he had this blocked off here.
Yeah.
So when I see that, what I would have done is ramped up production and pumped out a ton of what's called MMM. So Marines, Marauders, and Medivacs out of the starport.
Right.
And then once I had Stim Pack, I would have gone in and tried to bust the door down. Maybe throw in a couple siege tanks to make busting the door down easier.
Yeah. I kind of started figuring at the end that Cyclones weren't doing it, and I think at one point I cancelled all the Cyclones and started just building tanks. At the end, but,
You did,
it
and that was
too
a
late.
really good transition.
Um, but yeah, I think my plan changed about 3 times over the course of the last 5 minutes of the game.
It did. I did. I saw that. I mean, I saw that happen.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say?
Oh,
Cyclones are very good against Zerg. They're pretty bad against Protoss in general.
right. Yeah. Like I feel like Protoss are more tank-ish,
Yeah.
whereas Zerg are more infantry-ish.
Yeah, Protoss, you need to like outmaneuver them and outchange them. So
Yeah.
Protoss, it's extremely difficult to change your build. Like once you've gone down a path with Protoss, you kind of have to stick to it. With Zerg,
Also, sorry,
with Zerg they'll change every 5 seconds.
right. I was kind of paranoid the whole time that they might have one of those invisible flying drones over my base as well, but I wasn't sure how to counter it.
They did actually have it right here. So you counter it with this, the orbital command. You scan, and then your Marines shoot it.
Okay.
And they did.
Cool.
They had one
Like
right
an
here.
anti-air.
They had one
Where
right
is
here
it?
for the longest time, where my mouse is on the screen.
Oh yeah. I can't see your cursor. I can just see where you're
Oh,
hovering.
can you not?
Yeah.
Okay, weird. So where this command center is here,
Yeah.
immediately north of that command center, they had an observer sitting over your army. So
Gotcha.
with this command center here, you could have used the scan again. Why orbital command is like the bread and butter of Terran.
Hmm.
You would be able to scan that, and then your Marines would have just taken it out.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
I see.
that's it. You did better than you thought you did, but you did make a couple very critical mistakes.
Gotcha. I mean, clearly the other person was hacking. I mean, he was obviously cheating.
Do you want me to tell you the truth?
God.
He was AFK for the first 2 minutes of the game.
Really? Oh my god. Where? Why? What?
You know what? After we conclude this video, I will show you what I said in like my review of it.
Oh god.
But I think
That
that's
makes
what
it
we'll
so much worse.
that's where we'll end this. And you know, I've been thinking about what we want to call this series. How do you feel about the name Performance Review?
Sure. Sounds good.
We'll see if we change it for now, but I'll go with that utterly corporate name for the time being.
Indeed. Yeah, and next time I'm going to be making you play Payday 2.
Yeah, this will be my chance to embarrass myself because I've never played that game.
True, but you have played first-person shooters. But Scott, I was talking to Scott about this, and he was like, Kaiser will fly through that. He plays first-person shooter games. I'm like, Payday 2, I wouldn't really... It's not just a first-person shooter game.
Yeah, there's objectives and stuff to that. I play first-person shooters, but I'm also just absolutely an utterly impulsive, so that might not really work to my favor. Anyway, let's call the video there, and we'll end the recording. Well, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and
See if I get any better next time.
yeah, exactly.